risk if they're taken by someone they weren't prescribed for, or harm if accidentally taken by a child or a pet. Safely dispose of opioids before they can hurt your family. Find a drug take-back option such as medicine drop-off boxes. If there isn't one available, check the FDA's flush list. If your medicine isn't on the flush list, you can dispose of it in the trash. Get information to keep your family safe.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? And now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too. Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Hate and discrimination against Asian Americans are on the rise again. We can all be part of the solution. Report hate incidents and crimes. Learn how to de-escalate or intervene safely as a bystander. Get involved locally to promote racial and social justice. And if you are being harassed, we have resources to help. Go to advancingjustice-aajc.org for free resources. This message brought to you by these organizations.
I was diagnosed at 65.
37, earlier than most.
Every 9 minutes, someone is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
And every one of them can turn to the American Parkinson Disease Association. Visit apdaparkinson.org to learn more and show your support today.
Good evening, I'm Rick Elmhorst.
And I'm Erin Murray in for Holly. This is your Spectrum News in 90. Attorney General Ashley Moody is urging Floridians to be aware of HVAC scams, especially as the temperatures continue to rise. Moody warned scammers may try to take advantage of the situation right now. There's a new tool to help. It's called Scams at a Glance. Keep your cool. It's on the Attorney General's website.
AAA says a record 42 million Americans will travel for the 4th of July holiday. Those folks were expected to travel 50 miles or more, and experts are urging people, of course, to be careful when they hit the road this weekend.
The Polk County Sheriff's Office is looking for substitute crossing guards for the next school year. If you're interested in applying, you can call the number you see here. They're needed for multiple communities, which you can also see listed there as well.
That's a quick look at your news. Time now for your Klystron 9 forecast.
I'm meteorologist Josh Linker. Drier air has settled in, a rare treat for this time of year. We didn't see any showers in our area. The closest rain we saw was down over the Keys. Now, as we head through the morning hours with a mainly clear sky, mid-60s in our northern areas, upper 60s near 70 inland, and even right around the immediate Tampa Bay area, about 74 to 76. These numbers are quite a bit below average for the morning.
New details on that deadly Uvalde school shooting. Multiple police officers armed with rifles waited in the hallway at Robb Elementary School for nearly an hour as the gunman remained in the classroom.
This information comes from the most recent investigation on what happened each minute that day. The report says that officers arrived at the school within 19 minutes, which is earlier than previously disclosed to the public. Officers also had tactical equipment with them when they arrived, including a ballistic shield, holding it as they stood in the hallway. Investigators are also saying those same officers had enough firepower and protection to take the gunman down. Parents spoke last night at an open forum, calling for the school board to fire the district police chief, Pete Arredondo.
I find it shameful that we had almost 100 officers on the scene and I had to leave work and save my own.
We were failed by Pete Arredondo. He failed our kids, teachers, parents, and city. And by keeping him on your staff, y'all are continuing to fail us.
How is Mr. Arredondo still with the program? Suspend them pending termination. It's an insult to injury. These people are in pain, and you allow this to happen.
That report also says the door to the classroom where the gunman was could not be locked from the inside. And still, there was no indication those responding officers even tried to open it while the gunman was there.
A judge is moving up the trial date for two of the former Minneapolis police officers charged in the death of George Floyd. The judge moved the date for Tu Thao and J. Alexander King from January 23 to this October. They were two of the four officers, including convicted officer Derek Chauvin, who responded to a call accusing Floyd of using a fake $20 bill at a convenience store. Thao and King both pleaded not guilty. The other officer, Thomas Lane, recently took a plea deal.
Today, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled the state of Maine cannot exclude religious schools from a program that provides tuition aid to parents of children that have no public high schools in their districts.
Florida already has several school choice scholarship opportunities that can be used at religious institutions. We spoke with Florida State Senator Kelly Starger, who tells us this not only solidifies the current standing of our scholarships in Florida, but paves the way for more scholarships to be offered to our students in our state.
Karina Capabianca spoke with an education attorney about the potential implications of the decision on a national level.
The 6-3 decision reflected the court's ideological divide. The 6 conservative justices joined in ruling the Maine voucher program cannot exclude religious schools. Chief Justice John Roberts delivered the opinion of the court. In it, he said Maine's non-sectarian requirement for its otherwise generally available tuition assistance payments violates the free exercise clause of the First Amendment. In her dissent, Associate Justice Sonia Sotomayor said, this court continues to dismantle the wall of separation between church and state that the framers fought to build. Education attorney Sarah Furlow says the decision raises questions for states.
I think the biggest impact is whether or not this now puts states in a position where they have to assess the religious curriculum, right? So when you read the opinion, there's lots of talk about is Maine withholding funds from these religious schools because, they're religious. So, is it status use or is it because the schools within their curriculum are promoting religious beliefs?
Republican Senator Marco Rubio praised the decision. He said the Supreme Court sent a strong signal that discrimination against private schools because of their faith is unconstitutional. Florida already has several school choice program scholarships that can be used at religious schools. In Washington, Karina Capabianca, Spectrum News.
Attorney General Merrick Garland in Ukraine right now. He made an unannounced visit to meet with the country's prosecutor general to discuss finding and arresting suspected war criminals. Garland has pledged U.S. support for an international campaign to hold war criminals accountable.
The United States is sending an unmistakable message. There is no place to hide. We and our partners will pursue every avenue available to make sure that those who are responsible for these atrocities are held accountable.
A 21-year-old Russian soldier was convicted last month in the first war crimes trial of the invasion. He was sentenced to life in prison for killing a 62-year-old civilian.
In an effort to aid Ukrainian child refugees, a Russian Nobel laureate auctioned off his peace medal for millions of dollars. Dmitry Muratov, a journalist, won the Nobel Peace Prize last year. He's the editor-in-chief of an independent Russian news outlet and has written critically about Russia's use of military force. On Monday, Muratov auctioned off the medal for $103.5 million. The proceeds will go toward UNICEF's Child Refugee Fund, benefiting the 7.5 million children impacted by Russia's war in Ukraine.
A nearly $250,000 loan from the Housing Assistance Council will boost development of affordable housing in Wimauma. These are blueprints for Magnolia Garden Square, a new community of 38 villas and townhomes slated to be built by Florida Home Partnership Incorporated. The self-help housing program has helped more than 1,000 families achieve home ownership, including its current chief operating officer. Spectrum Bay News 9 reporter Fadia Patterson spoke with her about how that program made the American dream a reality for her family.
I am the chief operating officer, so I do a little bit of everything.
It took Vanessa Josie over a decade to get into that position with Florida Home Partnership to help others build and become homeowners.
And I started as the receptionist.
That was 19 years ago. She says one phone call with a client made her reevaluate her own status as a homeowner.
And she asked me, do you own a house? And that was like the defining moment for me.
Josie purchased her first home through the program. Today she helps with the architecture and building designs to cater to the needs of the families that will live in these communities.
I envisioned myself, because I started the program as a single person when I went through the program. So what do I need at that moment? But what do I need for the future? Because we understand and we want our homeowners to live in their homes for 10+ years. And
their self-help sweat equity housing program is designed for first-time home buyers with incomes below 80% of the median income. You must have good or repairable credit, and down payment assistance is available for those who qualify.
Our clients, they wouldn't be able to afford a home anywhere else, so they come to us.
These soon-to-be homeowners must also work a minimum of 600 hours building their homes.
It is definitely empowering to understand the beginning to end of a process.
A $240,000 grant from the Housing Assistance Council is making the development of Magnolia Garden Square possible. HAC's director says housing affordability is a huge issue throughout Tampa Bay that extends to the surrounding rural areas and the entire country. Josie says Waimama is one of those communities that needs attention.
We started in Waimama, our agency. We built 5 single-family homes, and for me, that was before my time, but it's great to know we're going back.
Back to where the Florida Home Partnership started, she says, to build more, bigger, and better. In Waimama, Fadia Patterson, Spectrum News.
Who do you call if you find yourself in the middle of an emergency housing crisis? The city of Tampa just launched a new hotline to answer those calls. At a press conference this afternoon, city leaders gave out the number to the new hotline that they say will connect people with those vital housing resources. The mayor acknowledged the affordable housing crisis in our area, but she says this new hotline will only serve as a line to help communication. It won't solve those issues plaguing communities throughout the Bay Area. The city's housing and development manager says she's heard the heartbreaking housing stories firsthand, and she thinks this hotline will help.
We plan to have this ongoing right now to make sure that as people need, if it's mortgage assistance, it's homeless services, we do have a way to navigate them to different resources and not just feeling like they don't have a place to call or someone who they can actually reach out to.
That phone number is right there on your screen, 813-307-5555. Callers can ask questions about security deposits, problems with the landlord, or rent increase assistance. The oldest air race of its kind took off in Polk County today. We'll tell you how this race is putting female pilots on the map. That story is next.
It is 9:39. Good evening. I'm meteorologist Josh Linker. Thanks for staying with us here for Weather on the Nines. What a great day we had. A rare treat here in late June with lower humidity. We'll begin here with a time lapse from Madeira Beach. We had clear skies in the morning this morning. This is our view brought to you by 1-800-ASK-GARY. And we did have a lot of folks out there at the beach, but the sun was shining and we only saw occasional clouds roll by. It was a terrific day. No rain out there. In fact, not just at the beach, but we didn't have rain anywhere within our area. Made for a nice looking sunset with some of those high clouds. And we can see those high clouds coming in here now on the satellite imagery. They continue to fill through the sky from the northeast. And that's pretty much the only high level of moisture out there. There's actually a pretty unusually dry air mass overhead, at least by late June standards. The current dew point, the amount of moisture in the air, is more like what we would see in April as opposed to late June. That's allowed the temperatures to back off a little bit. It's 77 in Brandon. Tampa, the airport observation at 87 degrees typically reads warm, doesn't cool down for a couple of hours after the sun goes down, but we'll see other spots cooling off. It's just the nature of the observation site there. It's not a good spot for the official observation for Tampa. 78 in Brooksville, 78 Zephyrhills. In fact, in Tampa, today's high was officially 94. There was not another spot that was warmer than 91 around the area, just for a little perspective of that particular site. 74 degrees by tomorrow morning. Most areas will actually be in the mid to upper 60s to maybe low 70s. Not as muggy. Pretty comfortable to start tomorrow. Mostly sunny, mainly dry. Could see a stray shower in the afternoon, the high of 94. Now, this time of year, dry air doesn't last for a very long period of time, so the rain chances are coming back. We'll tell you when with the 7-day forecast in less than 10 minutes. But first, here's Clystra on 9.
On Spectrum News.
I have never seen so many ambulances and police in my life all at once. It looked like something from like 9/11, literally.
We mark a tragic day in our state's history. 1 year ago, a condominium building collapsed, killing 98 people.
It's hard to imagine how this could happen. I've lived in Miami Beach, I was born here, and buildings just don't fall down.
As we take time out to honor the lives lost, we're also looking into what's being done to ensure something like this never happens again. Surfside 1 year later airs Friday night at 7, only on Spectrum News. Not sure what to do after an auto accident? Don't stall. Just call 1-800-ASK-GARY. It's a free accident helpline to get you going in the right direction. Real people, free referrals, anytime, day or night. Call 1-800-ASK-GARY.
Village Toyota has this summer's hottest deals with the new 2022 Corolla LE with payments as low as $189 per month. Explore our entire lineup of gas-saving, fuel-efficient hybrids, like the 2022 Toyota RAV4. With an estimated 41 miles per gallon, the RAV4 hybrid is designed to go the extra mile. 1.9% APR financing is available for a limited time. Get pre-approved in minutes, customize your payments, and value your trade online at villagetoyota.com.
When a child in your life requires intensive care, their health fragile, their condition complex, certified acute care pediatric and neonatal nurse practitioners will give you the information and support you need to make the best decisions for your child, while providing the critical care your child needs. Trained to diagnose and manage life-threatening conditions and emergencies, they are trained to make a difference. Learn why at certifiednurses.org.
This is a message from the Secret Service.
Don't be a money mule. Criminals rely on money mules to transfer criminal proceeds to avoid detection by law enforcement. To protect yourself, never respond to an offer to earn quick and easy money. Never agree to receive and send money. Never share your financial information. Money laundering is a crime. If you witness suspicious activity, contact law enforcement immediately. To learn more, visit us online. From all of us at the Secret Service, be vigilant and stay safe.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how, and we tell them with honest conversations that let them know what we expect. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. Kids need to know the dangers and how to avoid them. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be taken without a prescription and never shared with friends or family. It's dangerous and illegal. So talk with your kids, because when you talk, they hear you.
Available now on the Spectrum News app.
In your destination space news, now that the Space Launch System rocket for the Artemis mission has completed the key wet dress rehearsal, NASA is discussing what's next for the program. Now, we told you on Monday that the crew completed fueling all the tanks after taking time to troubleshoot a leak in what's called the core stage quick disconnect. Well, today, the mission manager says the tests were a success, and they're now looking through all the data to determine the next steps. The mission's ultimate goal is to send humans back to the moon and possibly even Mars.
I'm Kasia Guillaume, and this is your Sports Minute. The Lightning picked up a 6-2 win in Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final last night against Colorado. They now trail the series 2-1. Game 4 is tomorrow night at Amalie Arena. Head coach John Cooper is hopeful his star forward Nikita Kucherov will hit the ice. Remember, Kuch was injured in the third period after being cross-checked by Devin Toews. He will be evaluated tomorrow again in order to make that final call.
A lot can happen in the next 2 days. Am I glad there's a day off between games? Yes. So let's see how it is tomorrow. But yeah, it's playoff time, and regardless how we think of how it happened and how it went down last night, we can debate about that. But put it this way: that kid's. If you watch last year's playoff and anybody that knows him, what he went through to finish, it's remarkable. So I'd never count that kid out.
Tonight on Spectrum Sports 360, Bucks tight end Rob Gronkowski has decided to retire again. We'll talk about that tonight at 10:30 right here on Spectrum Bay News 9.
A big air race took off today from Lakeland International Airport in Polk County, and it featured all women's race teams. It's the 45th annual Air Race Classic, the oldest airplane race of its kind.
That's right, Rick. More than 100 women are participating in a 2,500-mile, 4-day race starting in Polk County and then ending in Indiana. Spectrum News photojournalist Calvin McClure caught up with the Polk State College Red Eagles, one of 2 Polk County teams looking to put women pilots and Polk County on the map.
This race, we're going to be going cross country all over. We end up in Indiana. Sturdy. It's going to be quite the learning experience, but I'm excited for it. I'm one of only 2 Lakeland teams and actually representing Polk State. So it's going to be super awesome, and it's going to really get Polk State out there. We're super excited so more people can see what we're kind of doing with aviation, see how there's actually a lot more women than they think actually in aviation. Also, we're trying to inspire the younger generation to start flying and kind of incorporate more women to join us flying. You want to pull it out? All right, so it's at 5193.4.
We're currently checking the oil to make sure that we won't overheat during flight. I think it'll be a lot of teamwork. We'll be able to grow as pilots, being able to compete with other women from around the country.
Some challenges we'll face on the race specifically is weather. Another challenge is fuel prices. Gas around here is around $6 to $7, and up there it's around $8. I think about each other. I think we'll learn a lot. I mean, we're going to be in this plane together for 20 to 24 hours, like total, over the course of 3 or 4 days. This time I'll be able to close it. So we're going to be in very close quarters for a very long time. So I think we're going to learn about each other. We're going to learn how to work as a team instead of, singular piloting, which is what we usually do. So it's going to be a really cool experience. Super excited about it.
Good luck to those ladies and safe travels. There are a total of 9 stops in this year's race.
Still ahead on tonight's health report, the CDC director is aiming to ease any concerns parents might have about the COVID-19 vaccines. Hear what she has to say coming up after the break.
And at the top of the hour, the latest from our nation's capital as the House committee investigating the January 6th attack continues to lay out their evidence.
Good evening. I'm meteorologist Josh Linker. Thank you for staying with us here for Weather on the Nines. Dry air, at least by late June standards, has settled in, so it's quite comfortable out there, at least for this time of year, and it's going to set us up for a terrific beach day on Wednesday. The sun will be shining. We'll see a couple of clouds on occasion, and temperatures will be in the upper 80s. The water temperature is still at 89. The sun will set at 8:29. Looking at the big picture here, what we're noticing as we glance at the satellite imagery, despite the dry air that is in place, we're still managing to see a couple of clouds. But we notice on the enhanced satellite imagery, the reds you see, those are the higher cloud tops. Those have been pushed all the way down to the south as the drier air has settled in. Now, there's still a little bit of moisture out there, so it's not like the middle of the winter or the early springtime. You still have a little touch of humidity, but it's pretty comfortable by June standards, and we'll keep the dry-ish air around. By Thursday, we'll pop a couple of showers. Friday, the moisture starts to increase, and we'll really notice that over the weekend, Saturday and into Sunday. we're going to have a lot more available moisture. So as we get even just a little bit of heating to take place, that'll help to produce those additional showers and thunderstorms. Not overnight into the morning, however. We'll be in the 60s to low to mid 70s. Very comfortable. Again, by these late June standards, we'll be running a few degrees below average. Here's your 7-day forecast. Still hot in the afternoon, but dry. We'll bring in a small rain chance Thursday. Friday, it'll increase a bit, and then over the weekend, this one will see a much better opportunity for additional rains. Saturday through next Tuesday, highs around 90 with lows in the 70s. That's your 7-day forecast. Another check of the weather is coming up at the top of the hour, but first, here's Klystron 9.
Hi, this is Rick Elmhorst along with Roy DeJesus, here to tell you about this week's To the Point Already podcast. This week, the January 6th committee.
We talked to a Spectrum News journalist covering the committee, and he was there the day of the attack. We also talked to a law professor who believes the committee is revealing misdeeds by former President Trump. Plus, 2 supporters of President Trump who think the committee is a partisan witch hunt.
There's a lot there. If you listened, and a lot of people who honestly are Trump supporters did not listen and did not want to listen.
I think it's a witch hunt show trial. Yes, sir, I sure do.
Because I feel like there's some sort of a foregone conclusion. The only conclusion they haven't reached yet is how much they can do to Trump.
And this is a podcast where everybody gets to speak their mind.
And you can watch or listen to this edition of To the Point Already right now at BayNews9.com or the Spectrum News app. And you can also listen anywhere you listen to podcasts by searching for To the Point Already.
How's the project going? At Spectrum, we think the internet can take you anywhere.
So good.
Great. So we're investing in programs to better connect our communities.
Get the Love Advantage when you buy your next new Honda from Love Honda. The Love Honda Advantage includes a 2-year no-charge vehicle maintenance plan. Plus, take advantage of our no-appointment-needed free pit stop service checkup. Buying from Love Honda is easy, and credit problems are no problem.
Go anywhere in the world first, but check with Chad last, and you'll save like nowhere in the world at Love Honda on Highway 19 between Homosassa and Crest River. Come and see what Love can do for you.
This place that I call. I want to explain it to her.
Hey, Tampa Bay business owners, stop overpaying for internet and phone. Switch to Spectrum Business. You'll get faster internet and Tampa Bay's best deal for small businesses. For only $49.99 a month, you'll get 600 megabits per second of blazing fast internet. Add business phone for just $19.99 a month. Taxes and fees included. Call 888-377-9191. Count on Spectrum Business to deliver faster speeds at an incredible price with over 99.9% network reliability. It's the best choice for your business. Other providers don't even come close. Just $49.99 a month for 600 megabit internet. Add phone for $19.99 a month. No taxes, no fees, and no contracts. Switch to Spectrum Business and get Tampa Bay's best deal for small businesses. Call today, 888-377-9191.
If you smoked, get scanned. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
In your health report tonight, the American Academy of Pediatrics has new safety guidance for sleeping infants.
That's right, Rick. The new guidance says it's not safe to sleep with your child under any circumstances. And Rick, I can tell you as a new mom, the doctor, all the way to the pediatrician, they stress this big time. Here's the new guidance information. At this point, this is the first update to safe sleep guidelines for babies made by AAP since 2016. The agency stresses co-sleeping significantly raises the risk of a baby being injured or even killed. Instead, the AAP encourages you to sleep in the same room but in separate beds until the infant is at least 6 months old. And here's why. Around 3,500 infants die from sleep-related deaths in the U.S. each year.
CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky says her agency is working to build trust with parents so they feel confident getting COVID-19 vaccines for their children.
We had 2 independent panels, both at the FDA as well as at the CDC, demonstrate and go through the data very carefully, very publicly. What we know is that confidence is going to grow over time. We saw that with adult vaccination when first rolled out. About 35% of people were interested, but we now have nearly 90% of people who've had 1 dose. So we have work to do with our trusted messengers, pediatricians, healthcare providers, pharmacists across this country, and that hard work starts right now.
The CDC recently signed off on COVID-19 vaccines for kids between 6 months and 5 years old. Those shots are being rolled out this week. Adding this age group means another 18 million children are eligible for the shots.
You can find your health news around the clock on baynews9.com and on the Spectrum News app.
And stay with us to the top of the hour for today's headlines and your weather on the 9s.
Here's what's going on in our community.
Brought to you by the Golden Diamond Source.
It's a great company to work with. There are lots of opportunities.
I've been going to school for electrical system technology, and they gave me opportunity to go to that department. I was like, wow.
For me, it's just equal opportunity for everybody to grow.
People that work hard here, they get opportunity to move up, and I found all that and more here.
I've been encouraged to grow, to get education. The future's really bright.
Join a company with endless career opportunities. Visit our job fair June 23rd and 24th.
My advice to all the fathers out there, they grow up way too fast for you to waste even a single precious moment.
Fraud schemes that target Americans desperate to modify loans and avoid mortgage foreclosures have reached unprecedented levels. Last year, con artists swindled thousands of homeowners out of millions of dollars. Don't be a victim. Do your homework before paying advance fees to anyone. Remember, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. For more information or to report a scam, visit the FBI website.
I am blind, but I need not see. I know this road is there for me.
Hi, I'm Dr. Nia Hurd-Garris with today's tip for kids from the American Academy of Pediatrics. Toddlers can be very curious about water. That's why drowning is the #1 cause of injury-related deaths for children ages 1 to 4. But drowning is preventable. Plan layers of protection, a fence that surrounds the pool, and swimming lessons when your child is ready. When your child is near water, an adult should always be within an arm's reach to supervise. For more, talk to your pediatrician and visit healthychildren.org.
Olivia was a free-spirited, very sensitive little girl. She became ill. They revealed a mass on her brainstem. She herniated on the brain and died. Immediately, I started thinking about organ donation.
Her daughter is alive through my son, so that's keeping love alive.
I can feel your heart beating. Oh my goodness. This little boy is running, playing because of my little girl, and I'm so grateful for that.
For more information on pediatric organ donation, go to lanethomas.org.
Good evening. I'm Rick Elmhorst.
And I'm Erin Murray in for Holly Gregory. This is your Spectrum News in 90. Hillsborough County School Board voted unanimously to extend Superintendent Addison Davis's contract until June 2027. The board cited his key educational and financial successes and the need for stability as the district continues to move forward. Davis has been the superintendent since March 2020.
Newport Richey will receive more than $973,000 as part of the Community Development Block Grant Program, according to the governor's office. That money will help diversify the economy, increase public safety, and mitigate future risks. Newport Richey is one of 23 communities receiving that funding.
Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final is Wednesday night at 8. The Tampa Bay Lightning and fans are looking to even the series before the Bolts head back to Denver for Game 5 later this week.
All right, that's a quick look at your news. Time now for your Klystron 9 forecast with Josh Linker. And Josh, it seems like we got a tiny little respite from the super oppressive humidity.
Yeah, and it's really rare this time of year, Rick and Aaron, to get this comfortable. Normally, we're just miserable for several months. Well, we broke out the comfort for today and into tomorrow. Actually be quite pleasant. First thing in the morning, we're going to be at 74 in Tampa, but there'll be many spots in the 60s, if you could believe that. And then through the day, yeah, it is going to warm up. 88, still comfortable. And even into the afternoon when we get into the low to even mid-90s, the humidity, the dew point, the amount of moisture in the air still remains fairly low. So it'll be comfortable and mainly dry weather. Now, it's not going to last forever. We're going to get right back into the humidity and the rain chances by the end of the week. We'll tell you more about that coming up.
An update for you tonight. Chamberlain High School in Tampa will retire its Chiefs mascot.
Well, that comes despite some emotional testimony and an online petition that gathered more than 6,000 signatures. In a 5-to-1 vote, the board decided to side with the Student Government Association, which suggested the change after consulting with Native American parents who called for the change. Many alumni leaders, they opposed that.
Several of those alumni were at the meeting tonight, while others protested outside. You see that here. Now, those in favor of the change say it's important to listen to current students, while many against it say the school is erasing its history.
My family has had 3 generations grace the halls of Chamberlain, all proudly as Chiefs. Supposedly, the alumni in the community were a part of this decision. We were not. We were canceled and buried.
I ask that you listen to the students now. They know what is appropriate, what is inappropriate, and they have taken the time to listen and to learn.
Several speakers pleaded with board member Henry Washington, a former principal. However, he introduced the motion to change the mascot, saying it's time for change. Ahead of tonight's vote, the current Chamberlain principal addressed the board, trying to clear up some confusion about what changes are going to be made.
The Title VI office wants to keep the tile and the bronze mascot in the hall as a memory and a fact of what happened, because it was there and it happened, and we have to honor that. The trophy case is not going anywhere. Now, some of the signage on the building and things on the football field, those are things, if we do change, that we would have to change.
Tonight's vote only impacts Chamberlain. The East Bay Indians used a similar process to see if a mascot change was needed, but they decided against it. New from our nation's capital tonight, a group of Senate lawmakers reached a deal on a bipartisan bill to address gun violence.
Well, that bill includes provisions for states to use federal dollars to implement red flag laws. For states like Florida that already have those laws in place, the funding can also go towards certain anti-violence intervention programs. The proposal also strengthens background checks for young gun buyers and invests in school and community safety programs. Negotiators say that while the bill isn't perfect, they are confident. They say it will save lives.
We are imperfect human beings, but we have to try, and I believe this bill is a step in the right direction.
This is a breakthrough. And more importantly, it's a bipartisan breakthrough.
The bill is expected to be brought up for consideration this week before the Senate leaves for the July 4th recess this weekend. Coming up tomorrow on our To the Point Already podcast, we're talking gun safety legislation, including Florida's existing red flag law. In its 4th public hearing, the House committee investigating the January 6th Capitol riot focused on how they say former President Donald Trump and his allies pressured states to overturn the 2020 election.
Today, the public heard from several witnesses, including election officials from hotly contested states like Arizona and Georgia. Now, you will remember both of those states held several recounts after turning blue for the first time in decades.
The hearing opened with accounts of the verbal attacks state and local elections officials dealt with in the aftermath of the election. One of today's witnesses was Arizona House Speaker Rusty Bowers. He previously described how former President Trump and his then attorney Rudy Giuliani called him after the election, trying to convince him to somehow involve the legislature in the state's certification process before sending its presidential electors to Congress.
Bowers told the panel while he supported President Trump, he couldn't go through with what Trump asked of him.
For me to do that because somebody just asked me to is foreign to my very being. I will not do it.
Bowers also said he was subjected to a disturbing smear campaign. He said that included protests outside his home and a man with a gun taunting his family and neighbors. There's another hearing set for this Thursday. It is also set to start at 1 p.m. Inspector Bay News 9 will bring you updates throughout the day on what happens. Back to some local news now. Dozens of teens in Pasco and Hernando counties are spending the summer earning some money, but it's not the typical summer jobs here.
No, it's not. It's actually a program meant to set them up for success well into the future.
Yep. Spectrum Bay News 9, Sarah Blazonis takes us inside the summer trades program.
Yep, gentle squeeze and then rotate around.
It's a job most of us would leave to the professionals.
So what we're doing right now is we're building an Ethernet cable.
But today, it's a task being put to students like 16-year-old Richard Robbins.
There you go, you can twist right there just from the fingertips.
Richard says he has no experience with stuff like this.
Finger dexterity.
Did I mention students are being timed?
White, green, blue, white, blue, green.
But the challenge is kind of the point.
There we go. Before, I didn't know much. Here, I'm able to kind of get a grasp on what this career might hold in my future.
That's exactly what the Summer Trades program is all about. It's run by CareerSource Pasco Hernando and Pasco Hernando State College. The month-long program gives students a taste of different career paths that don't necessarily include university. Today, they were at Leadfoot City. Next door to Richard and the IT section, students exploring a construction track moved transmissions from a building set to be demolished.
It does open their eyes like to different stuff.
Not only is the program free, students get paid $12.50 an hour for 28 hours of work per week. CareerSource says Summer Trades is aimed at teens from low-income families, some of whom might otherwise have had to choose between a program like this and getting a summer job. 17-year-old Dominic Mejia says for him, the pay is a bonus.
I mean, it doesn't really matter for the money. It's just good for experience, just in case you want to do something else that requires this.
Organizers say the program also aligns with Governor Ron DeSantis' goal of making Florida the top state in the nation for workforce education and development. So while there might be some bumps in the road,
all right, almost got it working.
Students will at least have a clearer picture of the path ahead. In Brooksville, Sarah Blazonis, Spectrum Bay News 9.
It's time now for our check of our weather, and we want to check in with meteorologist Josh Slinger joining us live in the Weather Center. And Josh, really just a lovely night.
Yeah, we have nice conditions out there, Aaron and Rick, and it looks pretty good right through the overnight period into tomorrow morning with lower than normal humidity, and that is allowing the temperatures to back off for most of us. Now, we'll look at the numbers right now, and a lot of areas are in the 70s already. The exception is right around Tampa Bay, and there are a couple of reasons for this. We have a northeast wind. It's fairly light, but that comes across the very warm water, so St. Pete and Clearwater, those readings will be warmer. The Clearwater observation is at the St. Pete Clearwater Airport that comes right off the bay, as does the observation in St. Petersburg. So then you're looking at Tampa, and you're wondering, why is Tampa so warm at 86? And the real reason is because that observation is at Tampa International Airport, and that reads warmer than everybody else. Look at the discrepancy here. 86 in Tampa. MacDill, surrounded by water, at 80. It's 81 in Riverview, Brandon 73, Temple Terrace 79. And it's unfortunate, we talk about this a lot, that observation at Tampa International Airport is the official climatological site for Tampa. And that typically over the last 5-6 years, because of all the construction around the airport, has just read way warmer than other sites, especially with these opportunities where we can cool down. Today's high, by the way, in Tampa was 94. The hottest other spot in the area was 91. So it just reads hotter at the airport. Our view from St. Petersburg throughout the day looked nice with just a few clouds. Is brought to you by the Crown Automotive Group. And we didn't have any rain around the area today on account of that drier air. A nice looking sunset out there tonight. Those high clouds streaming in from the northeast right now, and that's pretty much the only moisture that we have out there. So it'll be mainly clear to partly cloudy, definitely not as muggy. We'll go with 74 for the low in Tampa, although it wouldn't surprise me if that airport observation doesn't get cooler than 77 or 78. Most spots will be in the 60s to low 70s. And then for tomorrow, mostly sunny, mainly dry. Another warm day, the high of 94. There's a remote chance tomorrow of a passing shower. The rain chance will go up, and we'll talk more about that 7-day forecast coming up in less than 10 minutes. But for now, we'll send it back to you.
Spectrum Sports 360 coming up at the bottom of the hour. Joining us now live with a preview is Olivia Stacey. And Olivia, tomorrow night the Rays have a chance to even up the series. However, Nikita Kucherov, what's going on with him?
Yeah, I know we are all keeping our fingers crossed. Now, the good news is he has not been ruled out yet. And today, head coach John Cooper sounded hopeful that Kucherov may be back tomorrow. Cooch leads the team with 26 points during the playoffs. So if he's unable to play, it would be a tough blow, especially with Braden Point doubtful for Game 4. Coming up at 10:30, we're going to hear more from Coach Cooper. We're going to have all the latest from the Lightning, plus a little debate coming your way. Of course, all about the Lightning, so you guys don't want to miss it.
Yeah, it's just lightning right now.
Of course, yeah. So much momentum heading to the next game and a lot of nerves.
For sure. All right, thank you so much, Olivia. Spectrum Sports 360 coming up in less than 20 minutes. But first, let's take another check of your Clash John 9 forecast.
To the point already. A week.
The way you sleep forever. Just choose your perfect mattress set from our great selection of top name brand mattresses in the size, comfort, and support you need, and upgrade your foundation to a quality adjustable base for free. If you sleep on a queen size mattress, king size mattress, or even if you prefer a split king, it's better than ever. Buy the set and upgrade to the adjustable base for free and enjoy all the benefits now at Rooms to Go.
So anyways, I told Rob to ask, are you all right?
It's his tooth. I've been meaning to get it checked out, but I'm not comfortable with the dentist I've been seeing.
You should go to Ackley Dental. I made the switch years ago.
Do you see the same dentist every time?
Absolutely. And the same hygienist.
Really?
Yup. It's like visiting family.
Ackley Dental. Huh.
Since 1981, Ackley Dental has been giving people a reason to smile.
It started with a chance encounter, how trimming a few palm trees could become a business, supporting a family, and helping his community. When Robert Miller made Tree Care a trusted name here on the Nature Coast, he built it on honest hard work, and his daughter carries on those values today. The words tree care might sound generic, but she always knew it was more than just a name. Tree Care by Robert Miller. Here's to the next 30 years.
This place that I call. I want to explain it to her.
With Famous Tate, there's no reason to stress paying too much for a major appliance. Our prices are all backed by our price match and 30-day low price guarantee. Buy with confidence at Famous Tate. Of course. Deciding on the perfect major appliance to buy doesn't have to be stressful. Famous Tate offers a huge selection and expert advice in our 11 local showrooms. As the largest independent on Florida's West Coast, we know appliances. Famous Tate, of course.
I am blind, but I need not see. I know this road is there for me.
In a civil trial, jurors found Bill Cosby sexually abused a 16-year-old girl back in 1975. The Los Angeles County jury found the actor and comedian intentionally caused harmful sexual contact with Judy Huth, even though he knew she was under 18. The now 64-year-old Huth was awarded $500,000 in damages. Cosby did not attend the trial or testify in person. He was released from prison last year after his criminal conviction was thrown out by a Pennsylvania appeals court.
Looking beyond the bay now, dozens of tenants at this Kissimmee hotel, they say they're being forced out on the streets with very little notice.
The colorful Magic Castle Inn & Suites is known for being featured in the movie The Florida Project, which focuses on homeless families. Recently, the hotel has been home to about 30 transient tenants.
As Spectrum Bay News 9's Stephanie Bachara reports, the hotel is now being sold and longtime tenants, they're scrambling to find a new place to live.
Brianna Major looks down from the third-floor balcony at the Magic Castle, where she can see recently dropped-off equipment like a bulldozer, shipping containers, and industrial-sized dumpsters. She says the owners told her that they have to leave the property as soon as possible.
People have to figure out what they're going to do. You can't just drop a bomb on it and expect them not to be upset.
Major, her boyfriend, and their 2 kids moved here from Arizona and are starting over. She takes care of the little ones and is also working on her degree. She will be graduating next month. Her boyfriend works at Papa John's, but she says it's just hard to make ends meet.
Like an apartment down here by itself is over $2,000. Who can afford that?
You've got organizations here that are amazing, that help people every single day.
Major's family is one of the many who are looking for a new place to stay. Some of them are also employees at the Magic Castle and are not just losing their homes, but their jobs as well. Community leaders and those who run support groups behind the scenes gathered to help relocate those in need.
This is going to continue happening, which is why it is so important that we all work together to spread that message that Osceola County has to collaborate and work with others, which is what we're doing behind us. It is the only way to get things done when it comes to helping our residents that are stuck in a situation like this, regardless of reason. We need to be there to help them.
The owners of the hotel, who say they have allowed some people to stay at no cost in the past, have had this place for 17 years and are in the middle of selling the hotel because they want to retire. These current owners say new ownership wants the property to be empty. Major says she's just caught in between.
I would like to see some type of change. I mean, people being more compassionate, like everybody has their own situations, but what about the people that don't have nobody to turn to,
In Kissimmee, Stephanie Bachara, Spectrum, Bay News 9.
An attorney says while these people may not have leases or contracts, they still have rights. They need to be given a written notice, and depending on how they pay, that will regulate the time frame they are given to leave the property. Florida statute says when the tenancy is week by week, tenants need to be given at least 7 days notice to vacate.
Coming up next on Spectrum Bay News 9, there's a new exhibit at the Florida Aquarium. We're going to take you inside in tonight's On the Town Report, coming up after the break.
Hello, I'm meteorologist Josh Linker. An unusually low period